And that is the big message for the new reformed CDC
Right.
under Bobby's leadership, is that the CDC pendulum is going to swing back from this socialized utilitarian, the state can tell you what to do, back towards, no, you have control of your body and you are the one as a parent or guardian to make decisions about the medical care that your children receive.
I know, speaking about the CDC too, I know that there was information that just came out about 10 children, this was in the news last week or the week before, that it was proven were vaccinated from the COVID vaccine.
So I know a lot more about that story than I can say, because the person that I'll say these things because this is what's public. Being on the ACIP, there's some things I can't talk about because they're confidential government information. But the things that are now public, I can talk about. Dr. Tracy Beth Hogue, who was just recently appointed the interim chief or the acting chief of the Center for Drug Evaluation and Research. Tracy has been the liaison between the FDA and the ACIP. And one of the first things she did after she was appointed to that by Secretary Kennedy is she dove into the VAERS, VAERS reporting system, and started looking at the reports of deaths in children after receiving the vaccine. And there's a large number of those reports, and she started digging deeper into which ones could absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, be caused by the vaccine. Because a lot of them, maybe it could be this, maybe it could be that, hard to say, happened a little bit later, blah, blah, blah. But she found 10 that she thought were just bomb-proof. Absolutely, the vaccine caused these children to die.
So it's like death, not just injury. So it was 10
Death,
children
okay?
that died.
Because we already knew about the injuries, like the myocarditis, okay?
That's terrible.
So she looked into the deaths.
And what were the deaths?
And then
related?
just most.
Most.
Okay.
Okay.
That will come out.
Okay.
Okay. But she looked into those, and she looked into the records of whether they'd been looked at before.
Right.
And all I can say about that is she documented exactly the whole history of those 10 deaths. And when those data come out, it is going to be a bombshell.
I mean, I'm assuming that the Biden administration knew about it. That would be a bombshell.
The CDC knew about it.
Okay.
Okay? So we can assume that Rochelle Walensky knew about it.
Right.
We can assume that Dmitry Dasilakis knew about it, who was functionally operating the CDC. He resigned recently. But a lot of people knew about what was going on. Then, because she presented those data to the working group, the COVID working group at ACIP. So I've seen it, others have seen it, Retzef Levy's seen it. But we were hoping it was going to get disclosed. But it wasn't. She went back to her supervisors, including the commissioner of the FDA, and they said, hold on, we're not going to disclose this yet, because they presented it internally and there was a bunch of FDA people that objected.
Right.
And so they said, well, you can't actually prove this. So they did another investigation at the FDA. And they came to the conclusion, Tracy did her work right. She got it right. All those that she identified are actually absolutely vaccine-associated deaths in children. And that was what triggered Vinay Prasad, the director of the Center for Biologics Evaluation and Research, to come out with this memo last week that was kind of a Howard Beale, if you remember, network. I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore. It was kind of the regulatory version of that, the memorandum that he put out, in which he said, I'm sick and tired of it, basically, and we're going to change regulatory practice for vaccines. And if you don't like it, you can resign right now. That's the short version of that memorandum.
Wow.
In that, he disclosed these 10 deaths. It was the only thing that the press focused on. And whether or not these were real, and you can't really make this. I guarantee
it's weird how they just go to bat for things like against
pharma.
It's really strange. And my question is too, and I'm just putting out there, I know that you're not in the Attorney General's office, but if these people in the former CDC knew about these deaths of these children and they withheld it from the public, that has to be some sort of crime against humanity.
I asked that question for our Substack,
Right.
and went to, we use SuperGrok, and we use the professional version of Chat GPT, and so I looked on those sources
Right.
to try to find whether or not this would be a prosecutable offense. Hiding information, a government official hiding information about a known side effect, particularly
Right.
death,
Interesting.
associated with a drug, does appear to be a prosecutable offense.
Right, of course, especially if it's causing death of children. That's absolutely ridiculous. And obviously these people have conflicts of interest. If that could be proven, it's even more nefarious, you could say.
Yeah.
More malicious
No,
intent.
I think you're putting your finger right on the key issue right now.
We're looking for people that don't have pardons. Unfortunately, Dr. Fauci has an auto pen pardon, so he.
But that's now questionable,
It's now
right?
questionable.
Yeah.
Yes.
So maybe we'll see if Pam Bondi has the appetite to take these things on, but I think that I am aware of multiple investigations ongoing about all these events, including the origin of the virus.
And the origin of the virus.